Good evening, barflies and lounge lizards, and welcome to Late Night Video. And on this week's episode, we'll be talking about Phantom of the Paradise from 1974 by Brian De Palma. And I will say in advance, I am not a fan of musicals. I can count the amount of musicals I like on, well, 2 fingers. But this one is very different. And though it is slam full of music, and the characters in the movie will actually sing, it's not the type of musical where they bust out in the song when they're in the middle of something and sing what they're doing or sing conversations to each other. It's more so just like a rock opera, as it said. And going into it, that's exactly what Phantom of the Paradise is a rock opera. To me, it feels more 60s. Like when the first time I saw it, I thought for sure it was a movie from the 60s, not 1974. But it is a rock and roll, a little bit of glam rock in there too, version of Phantom of the Opera. And it tells the story of a nerdy singer-songwriter who basically gets his music, his compositions, stolen by an extremely shady record producer. And the record producer then turns around and frames the guy for being a drug dealer, gets him sent to prison. And then after he gets out of prison somehow, he horribly disfigures him. And so the nerdy singer-songwriter comes back to the Paradise, which is the shady record executive's new venue, and pulls a Phantom of the Opera, starts kind of messing the place, messing up people, doing a Phantom of the Opera-ish type stuff. And it is great looking, great sounding. I mean, this really is a treat for if you like Phantom of the Opera, if you like 60s and 70s rock, if you like fantastic looking movies, good. Phantom of the Paradise stars William Finley as Winslow, who is the poor nerdy guy who ends up becoming the Phantom. And let me tell you, his Phantom is so cool looking. I mean, that bird-like mask reminds me straight out of something out of like Battle of the Planets, or what was that Gundam Wing character, Zex Marquis, I think was his name. Like something kind of like that, really cool. And I've never quite seen a Phantom design quite like that. And then there's Phoenix, the woman that I wouldn't call it his love interest. I mean, he definitely has an interest in her, but I don't think she has an interest in him. But played by Jessica Harper from Suspiria fame. And she's great in Suspiria. She is great in this. She does a great job. So if you're a Suspiria fan or a Jessica Harper fan, you need to see this movie just for her alone. And then, of course, one of the real standouts of the film is the bad guy, Swan, played by Paul Williams. And you may best know Paul Williams not only as Virgil in Battle for the Planet of the Apes, he was the Penguin in the 90s Batman the Animated Series. And whenever I see Penguin, that's the voice I think of, that Paul Williams kind of voice. And he is excellent in this movie. And he might just be a little supernatural. Not going to say if he is, not going to say if he isn't. But there might just be some kind of something going on here, the wet the whistle of the horror types. The music in this movie is fantastic. And I guess it would have to be for a musical type movie to appeal to me. It's got some really great songs and a different variety of stuff. There's some dark, somber pieces. There's some good rockin' pieces. And of course, as I mentioned, there's a glam rock group and glam rock kind of sound in it as well. I mean, it's really got a good selection for rock fans. It's actually a soundtrack I would not mind owning. I've actually had it on my list for a long time, been meaning to get. The record label that Swan owns is called Death Records in the film, but it was supposed to be called Swan Song Records. Led Zeppelin had just come out with a label of that, even though filming of the movie had already taken place, and so they threatened to sue. Or maybe they did sue. Something happened. There was some legalness going on, and so they had to change the name of Swan Song Records in the movie to Death Records. But there was a bunch of stuff filmed already, so there's some very strange, awkward, just like superimposed Death Records logo over what was clearly a Swan Song Records logo. Is it wacky? Yeah, it's pretty darn wacky. Just the character of Beef, played by Garrett Graham alone, he's the glam rock kind of character, and he is over the top and he is great. I've said great and excellent a lot this review, but he really is. And Garrett Graham, you may probably remember him by his stunning role as Bud the Chud in Chud 2. Bud the Chud. That's him. And he was also the dad, can't remember his name, in TerraVision. Oh, TerraVision. That's another. That swinger party scene. That's some funny stuff. But this isn't about that. This is about Phantom of the Paradise. You can get it on DVD. You can get it on Blu-ray. The soundtrack's readily available. Readily in English, readily available. I give this 4.5 Paul Williams in a bathtub out of 5. And once you see the movie, or if you've seen the movie, you'll know exactly what that means. This is, as I said, a great movie, a fantastic looking movie, fantastic sounding movie, fantastic acting movie, fantastic just set design. Everything about it is just super duper cool. I think that's all I got to say about that one. Again, please don't let the fact that it's a very musical in nature kind of movie throw you off. Give it a shot. And that's all the time we have for this week. Please like, subscribe, comment, go watch this movie, and keep it wacky.
Wow.